Imagine the glittering peak of a culinary empire, right? The applause in these Michelin-starred dining rooms.
Yeah.
And a chef once hailed as, well, the undisputed king of Italian food in America. It was this huge multi-million-dollar world built on taste, built on fame.
Yeah, absolutely. A giant figure.
But behind that seemingly untouchable image, there was a fall. So dramatic that today, Mario Batali's net worth is around $25 million. And that number, it's not just about the money, is it? It feels like a story about power, pride, and I guess the staggering price of a public collapse.
And that's exactly what we're diving into today, the incredible rise and, well, the equally dramatic fall of Mario Batali.
Yeah.
For so many people, he wasn't just a chef. He was Italian fine dining here in the U.S. He built this sprawling, Michelin-starred empire, dominated kitchens, dominated the media.
Totally. He was everywhere.
But as we'll explore, a series of scandals, some serious missteps, they just shattered that empire, forced him to sell his restaurants, step back completely from the public eye.
So here's the question that I think really grabs you, our listener. How does someone have such a massive public downfall, seem to lose almost everything, yet still hold on to a fortune of, what, $25 million today in 2025?
Right. It's a fascinating question.
This isn't just a story about finances, is it? It feels like a journey that tells us something deeper about power, about pride, and maybe about the really challenging, often unseen path of rebuilding when the world thinks you're just done.
Our mission today, then, is to uncover the lessons buried in Mario Batali's, well, unique story.
Yeah.
We'll dissect his financial thinking, the career strategy he used to scale up so big.
Yeah, the scaling is key.
His specific success habits, his sort of underlying philosophy on life and food, the power dynamics at play. And, importantly, how he handled the crisis and shifted towards this long-term rebuilding game.
All right, let's unpack all of this.
So where do we start? His financial mindset.
Yeah, let's start there. Because his story of wealth, it doesn't begin with, like, family money or privilege. Not at all. It kicks off in 1993 with a pretty bold move, actually. He borrowed just $32,000 to open his first place, Poe, in Greenwich Village.
$32,000. That's it.
And what's really wild is Poe's early success, it paid back that loan in only 8 months.
8 months.
Yeah, and was already making like $2.5 million a year. For a first restaurant, that's genuinely remarkable.
It really is. And, that early win wasn't just financial. It showed his whole philosophy right from the start.
How so?
Well, he seemed to view money less as the end goal and more as a tool, a vehicle for creating cultural value, something bigger than just chasing quick profits.
Okay, I see. So reinvesting everything.
Exactly. Instead of just pocketed the cash, he aggressively reinvested every dollar back into his vision. Like each dollar was a brick in the empire he was building in his head.
And that vision really started taking shape in the late 90s, didn't it? Especially with that partnership with Joe and Lydia Bastianich.
Oh, that was pivotal. Absolutely pivotal. That led to Babbo in 1998.
Babbo.
Right.
Which wasn't just another Italian restaurant. It felt like it genuinely redefined fine dining Italian style in America.
It did. It quickly got a Michelin star, a James Beard Award. It set a whole new benchmark.
So from Babbo, the expansion was pretty strategic.
Very strategic. A huge move was opening Del Posto in 2005. That wasn't just another spot. It was meant to be the flagship, the absolute pinnacle of Italian culinary excellence in the U.S.
And it worked, right? Didn't it get that massive New York Times review?
It did. The first 4-star review from the Times for an Italian restaurant in almost 40 years. That really made a huge statement.
Wow. It just shows the scale of his ambition by then.
Oh, yeah. But 2012, this wasn't a couple of restaurants. It was an empire. The Batali and Bastianich Hospitality Group, B&B, managed over 16 restaurants.
16.
Yeah, not just in the U.S., but internationally, too. Estimated annual revenues, somewhere around $250 million.
$250 million.
And it wasn't just restaurants, remember.
Yeah.
Branded products, cookbooks, selling like crazy, those big TV appearances, Molto Mario, The Chew.
He was everywhere. And he had this ethos, right? Good Italian cooking is simple.
He said that often. And it seemed to reflect both his cooking and his business approach.
Yeah.
Create something authentic first, something real, and the success, the money would follow.
And the authenticity piece was huge for him. Sourcing ingredients from specific places in Italy.
Oh, meticulously. Places he'd personally visited, championing local farms here, too. It was deeply ingrained.
But here's the catch, isn't it? When your entire brand, this authentic, narrative-driven thing, is so tightly wound around one person.
It becomes incredibly vulnerable.
Exactly. That $25 million he has now, it's almost like a reminder, a stark one, that even a huge amount of financial capital can't totally protect you when trust is broken on that scale.
So let's shift to his career strategy.
Right.
Because his rise, from one restaurant to this global icon, it wasn't just luck.
No way. It felt very calculated.
It was a calculated strategy balancing that aggressive growth with trying to maintain authenticity. He wasn't just opening restaurants. He was trying to create these cultural destinations.
And Babbo, back in '98, was kind of the proof of concept for that, wasn't it?
Absolutely. It proved he could merge authenticity with innovation and do it at scale. Michelin star, James Beard Award, it was the blueprint.
And the Bastianish partnership was key to scaling.
Foundational. Absolutely foundational. It freed up Batali to focus on the creative stuff, the vision.
While they handled the nuts and bolts.
Exactly. The operations, the expansion logistics. That partnership enabled the speed and scope of the growth.
And Del Posto, getting back to that, was the symbol of taking Italian food to that absolute top tier.
Right. Proving authenticity could work at the very peak, not just in rustic trattorias.
So at the peak, how big did it get? You said 16 restaurants?
Over 16, yeah. Globally, Vegas, LA, Singapore, plus his role with Italy, which was huge exposure.
And he managed to keep the identity somehow.
He had this knack for it. Each place was designed to immerse you in Italian culture. The food, the wine, the whole vibe. Scaling without, watering it down. That was the goal.
Plus the media savvy. Multimario, cookbooks, products that built the personal brand and the wealth simultaneously.
Immensely.
Right.
But as we said, that incredibly powerful personal brand, it became his Achilles heel.
Right. Because when the #MeToo allegations hit in 2017...
the damage wasn't contained. It just spread like wildfire through every single part of the business.
leading to him selling his entire stake by 2019.
Yep. A really stark lesson in how a brand built on one person can be both a massive asset and a catastrophic liability.
Okay, let's dig into his success habits. Because they were pretty distinctive. It started with that deep cultural immersion, right?
It really did.
Yeah.
After Le Cordon Bleu, which is classic French, he basically ditched it.
Yeah.
And spent 3 years just living in Italy's Emilia-Romagna region. Not just learning recipes, but absorbing the whole philosophy food, reflecting the land, the people.
That became his core identity as a chef.
Completely. And his creativity in the kitchen was famously bold. Audacious, even.
Like
Pairing rustic stuff with unexpected things, really intense, unapologetic flavors. Critics called dishes like his tagliatelle with guanciale and truffle excessive in the best way.
excessive in the best way. That sounds like him.
It really reflected his personality. And his brand habits went beyond the kitchen, too. He was always in his restaurants.
Visible, engaging.
Yeah, talking to customers, staff, keeping that vibe going.
Yeah.
And then there was the look.
The orange croc.
The orange Crocs, the vest. Instantly recognizable. It signaled approachability, in a sometimes stuffy industry.
But there was a darker side to these same habits, wasn't there?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
That larger-than-life personality, which was magnetic at first, it sometimes tipped into arrogance. And that boundary-pushing creativity, it seemed to extend to his behavior sometimes, blurring lines between confidence and recklessness.
And that ultimately fed into the workplace culture issues.
It seems that way. It contributed to an environment where the alleged misconduct could happen, according to the reports.
It's a real paradox. The very things that drove his success, the immersion, the boldness, the charisma, also created these huge vulnerabilities.
It really makes you think about self-awareness. How success habits need discipline so confidence doesn't become carelessness.
Yeah. What about his underlying philosophy? He always projected this idea that food was culture, not just business.
Consistently. He hammered that point home. Preserve authenticity, cultural integrity over just making a quick buck with branding deals. Good food tells a story, connects you to heritage.
And that shaped the business, prioritizing certain suppliers.
Definitely. He sought out specific farmers, artisanal producers, even if it cost more. It had to reflect the region, the tradition. It wasn't just about taste. It was the story behind the taste.
He even got involved in advocacy outside the kitchen, right? Like that anti-fracking thing.
Yeah, Chefs for the Marcellus. It showed his belief that profit shouldn't trash culture or the environment. Safeguard the things that make food meaningful.
And this philosophy let him create those really immersive places like Del Posto, like Italy. They weren't just restaurants or markets.
They were experiences. designed to transport you, educate you about Italy through every bite, every interaction.
But then comes the crushing irony.
While publicly championing authenticity, respect, community, the allegations painted a totally different picture inside his own workplaces.
A huge disconnect.
A stark, painful disconnect between the stated ideals and the reported reality of harassment.
It's such a cautionary tale, isn't it? A noble philosophy means nothing if you don't live it.
Exactly. Building a real legacy means aligning values and behavior everywhere, not just when the cameras are rolling.
Let's talk about his power. By the early 2010s, he wasn't just a chef, he was a major cultural influencer.
Oh, absolutely dominant. Star on Food Network's Molto Mario, co-host on ABC's The Chew, bestseller lists. His restaurants were status symbols.
Even Anthony Bourdain called him a revolutionary.
He did. And Batali wielded that power, setting trends, dictating standards, building this huge network. His charisma, that unfiltered style, drew tons of attention.
But maybe blurred lines between leadership and just dominance.
That seemed to be the case. In his orbit, boundaries often seemed flexible, bent to his will.
Which became painfully clear with the hashtag #MeToo allegations in late 2017.
Yeah, the accusations of creating an unsafe workplace, where his behavior allegedly went unchecked. The fallout was immediate. Networks cut ties. Fans turned away.
And the empire built on his name just crumbled.
It did, leading to him selling all his stakes in B&B by 2019.
It really exposed the dark side of that concentrated power, didn't it?
It really did. When influence gets that concentrated, without checks and balances, it can create environments where misconduct can fester.
And even though he was acquitted of criminal charges later.
Right, in 2022. But his public image remained deeply tarnished. Maybe permanently.
The lesson seems pretty clear. True leadership needs more than just vision and charisma. It needs humility, setting boundaries.
And the integrity to actually respect those boundaries. Consistently.
So, the crisis hits late 2017. The empire unravels almost instantly. Partners bail, TV networks drop him. His name is suddenly toxic.
Completely toxic. By 2019, he sells his entire stake in B&B. Walks away from what he spent decades building.
But he didn't just vanish, did he? He chose a different route.
Yeah, not obscurity, more like a quiet, slow rebuild. He only really started cautiously resurfacing after that acquittal in Boston in May 2022.
And his focus now seems to be on smaller things, more controlled.
Exactly. Smaller ventures, letting him reconnect with the craft, maybe, without the insane pressure of running a global empire.
Like that online cooking class thing, Molto a Casa.
That's a perfect example. Launched December 2023. Sold out fast, apparently made $42,000 in 3 days.
Which isn't B&B money, obviously, but...
But it showed his culinary expertise still had value, and that some people, at least, were willing to separate the chef's skills from the scandal.
And today, 2025, the net worth is estimated around $25 million.
Which is honestly pretty remarkable. It's a testament to survival, preserving a chunk of wealth despite losing so much, professionally and publicly.
And this whole post-crisis phase, it tells us something important, doesn't it? About failure.
I think so. That long-term success isn't just about winning. It's about how you respond when you lose, when you fail.
Yeah.
Batali's path now isn't some triumphant comeback.
No.
It's a long game. Quiet authenticity, controlled projects, rebuilding differently.
It shows that empires can definitely crumble, but maybe individuals who adapt, who learn, can endure.
Yeah, it shows a kind of resilience.
Yeah.
The possibility of rising again, maybe differently, maybe wiser, even after hitting rock bottom.
So, Mario Batali's story, it's quite a profound journey, really. From that tiny $32,000 loan that somehow grew into this massive empire, once worth hundreds of millions, and then the collapse. It makes you think how the very things that propelled him, the boldness, the charisma, the dominance,
also laid the groundwork for the fall, when those boundaries blurred, when accountability wasn't there.
Yeah.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is the deeper truth it reveals. Success isn't just about the money or the awards, is it?
Clearly not.
At his peak, Batali seemed untouchable. But the scandal made the empire just evaporate. What was left? The financial remnants, the $25 million, and a reputation that's forever changed.
Yeah.
It really forces you to look at what actually sustains a legacy. And it's this paradox, right? Culture and authenticity can build incredible value, but they have to be built on a rock-solid foundation of integrity. Power can inspire, sure, but without humility, without respect, it can just destroy everything.
So at $25 million today, It's more than just a number. It's like a symbol.
It really is a symbol of what he built, what he lost, and maybe what's left when all the noise stops, when the applause fades. It makes you question what truly lasts.
Definitely.
And I think for anyone chasing success, Batali's story is just this incredibly powerful reminder. True wealth isn't just what you pile up. It's about how consistently you align your actions with your values.
Both when everyone's watching.
And maybe even more crucially, when they're not. Which brings up an interesting question for you.
So, thinking about this whole deep dive, do you actually believe someone can truly rebuild their legacy after a fall that public? And maybe, in your view, what's the single most valuable thing, the most valuable asset a person can actually leave behind?